channel.
You know what time it is, no press fam. Welcome everyone to another episode of The Beatdown, the segment and channel where two worlds collide. I am your host, Class. And as a friendly reminder, if you guys enjoy our content, share, like, or subscribe. As always, we really appreciate you guys. And if you guys want to know about the origin stories, brief origin stories, or you want to know about the powers, abilities, and feats of these particular characters, you can find that all down in the description below. Now, let's move on. Now, in honor of the recent Crow movie that, came out in 2024, everybody has mixed views about it, but either way, we figured we'd do a little honorable mention by doing an episode on this particular character. It's also in honor of the recent Blade that came out in the Wolverine and Deadpool, our original Blade, Wesley Snipes, shout out to him, so we wanted to add that into the notes. So, let's get things going, shall we? Here is the end game on this one. In this corner from Caliber, I believe, Comics, Eric Dravens, aka The Crow. Okay, well, let's start off with bleeding him dry isn't gonna work on Crow since he's not exactly alive in traditional sense, meaning he doesn't have human blood to feed on, that if Blade needed some juice from slowing down in the battle, he'd be out of luck. Healing factor will continue to play a vital role as Blade may have all the weapons in the world in his coat pockets, but the Crow can only take himself out officially, so the weapons would eventually run out. The Crow has an extra set of eyes to help him keep alert of Blade's whereabouts during a fight, such as, for example, the beginning. Blade may hunt him, and in this case the Crow can see him come with his eyes in the skies and brace himself for the hunter or begin switching the roles on Blade. He may be able to counter most attacks from Blade as his reflexes are on the supernatural department. Let's talk about prep time. Knowing his enemy is coming and knowing about him based on touching objects that may have been in his possession, may have been in the possession of the Daywalker himself, the Crow would be cunning enough to set a trap to be able to take out Blade using certain weapons, obviously. Along with emotional baiting, he could end Blade with one's wrong step. So meaning that Blade could make one wrong move and bam, the Crow could see the opportunity from there or seize it. What he has going for him is not being able to be killed by any traditional manner, meaning the fight won't stop until Blade is put out of commission. The Crow can sense the pain of others, maybe use that to mess with Blade's mind, and it might be possible given Blade's messed up loss to his mother from a vampire. This emotion being triggered might cause Blade focus and ultimately a chance for the Crow to get his shot in for the win. The Crow has only a few rare opportunities to get his opening to take out the Daywalker, and some are easier than others. The easy step is to tire Blade down. He might have his no weaknesses of vampires except one, which is the urge for blood. Wildcard time. In a dragged out fight, he could potentially tire Blade out, opting him to reach for his bag full of serums to avoid actually living prey, but the Crow could shoot those out of his hands in a moment, and without those Blade would need actual blood pumping humans. From there, the fight can be taken to an active street or a mall and Blade would be in trouble. He'd do his best to resist the urge, and the Crow would be able to body him since he won't have all his wits and his energy focused on the battle. The Crow just needs a blade, pardon the pun, to slice Blade's head off clean. And Blade might survive a lot of things based on healing factor, but head chopped off might not be one of them, granting the Crow his victory. Alright, now let's talk about the end game on this end. In this corner, representing Marvel Comics, the Vampire Hunter, the Daywalker himself, Eric Brooks, aka Blade. Let's start off with he has way more skills in the fighting department. His martial arts alone will keep the Crow from delivering a blow or even get a chance to touch him. He could disarm the weapons off of him and leave this to good old-fashioned fist to fist, and Blade would have his number. He would just body him for sure. He has much more abilities than the Crow has, which can one-up him each time and overtake him at some point. So yeah, you got the martial arts, and then you got also his more heightened sensibilities, as because he's a vampire and half human, but his vampire actually gives him more amplifying abilities from super strength and all that other stuff. So yeah, it's safe to say that Blade's martial arts and that amplified ability would be able to just body the Crow in every sense of the word. His weapons usually designed for vampires, but use that mini stake to nail the Crow to the wall like a fly, and it's an option. His flamethrower could buy time for the Crow's healing capabilities to take full effect. He has a lot of arsenal weapons to stall and trap the Crow so that he has the control of the fight. He has defense against mortal weapons, so the Crow might not actually have the tools to do any damage to Blade in any sense. He is more experienced given his time in the comics. He has fought supernatural beings along with characters who develop extraordinary gifts, while the Crow has fought thugs and isn't exactly in the same ballpark. With humans, you can get exactly what you get, but beings with powers now, that has unpredictable elements all over it. This means Blade is more adaptable against more foes, while the Crow only can handle a man with a gun. Breathing gun might just do the trick, as it has put down much more powerful targets like Cosmic Ghost Rider. He is much more stronger than he is. I say this because Morbius blood affected Blades in a way that has beneficial, as it gave him even much more greater superhuman strength, which means the Crow is screwed in this sense, because Blade can overpower him, nail him with a heavy object that Crow won't be able to counter it. Blade possesses a few sorcery magics, which means he could possibly remove the Crow from his powers or detach the Crow from its Crow for a moment and take his shot. Which I mean, what I mean by that is, I believe that since Blade does have a little bit of tricks up his sleeve when it comes to magic, he could probably detach, like Bluetooth style, like take the signal off of the Crow from the actual Crow, the bird. Or he could take out the Crow, or just remove the Crow entirely out of the competition and leave Eric Draven's just human, and eventually he would run out of his lifespan, because once the Crow is detached, there's no healing factors, there's no way of them keeping alive. Eventually they just kind of deteriorate, or they go back to becoming corpse. Let's see what else. If he decides to level up, the Crow doesn't stand a chance. Whether it's sorcery form or the boy thing form, Blade will just be too amped up to take him out. So pretty much, to just take my point home, or just kind of nail it, Blade has martial art experience. He has fought way more greater foes. He has way more in his arsenal that would be much more damaging to the Crow. And he also has that little bit of magic to add on to if he needs to maybe detach the Crow from the Crow bird itself. And then ultimately, no matter how you slice it, Blade does have the capabilities of doing a lot more than the Crow, and then claim the W on this end. But as always, no press fam, it is not up to me, it is up to you guys. So if you guys like either one of my arguments, you can hashtag the Crow, or you can hashtag Blade. And as always, no press fam, we really appreciate you guys keeping it 600 subs. Peace. Shout out to all my content supporters. We're not working together, but we like to give credit where credit is due. Ivan the Unstoppable for all the knowledge of comic feats. Watch Mojo for origins and for all the background videos. Comic Historian, Comics Explained, and Key Issues. Go ahead and check them out and tap into the world of comics by supporting other creators. Link to channels will be in the description below.